Hey everyone, and welcome back to This Explainer, calling all 8th graders, because today we are diving into some seriously fascinating material from Smart Academy. We're going to connect algebra to the real world and honestly to the larger patterns of life itself. If you've ever felt like math is just, a bunch of random numbers shifting around without much rhyme or reason, well, this material takes a completely different approach. We're exploring the idea of finding an anchor. Specifically, this thing called the constant of proportionality. And as you'll see, figuring out this fixed ratio might literally change how you view everything, from earning your own money to just navigating your daily routine. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the unchanging pattern, then move into finding the constant. After that, we'll hit some real-world math examples, give you some time to practice, and finally wrap up with education and morality. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The unchanging pattern, a foundation of consistency.
I want you to take just a second and think about the things in your life that absolutely never change. In a world where literally everything feels like it's constantly shifting, your schedule, the weather, what's trending online, it's kind of nice to look for absolute constants, right? The HeroesMart curriculum actually uses Hebrews 13:8, which states that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever to completely frame this lesson. They draw this really powerful parallel between a spiritual constant and the totally predictable, reliable patterns we're going to see in algebra. The source material basically says that math is a reflection of order. In a proportional relationship, the constant stays exactly the same no matter how huge the numbers get.
And honestly, it's pretty amazing when you realize that understanding this constant isn't just about passing your next math test. It's almost like unlocking a secret code behind everyday life. Recognizing these fixed ratios actually makes math, money, and your daily situations completely predictable. Whether you're trying to figure out your future paycheck, scaling up a recipe for a massive family dinner, or just trying to read a map on a road trip, the constant of proportionality tells you exactly how one value changes in relation to another. It basically takes all the guesswork right out of the equation.
Section 2. Finding the constant, unlocking the math.
Okay, so let's check out the working definition from the lesson. The constant of proportionality is the fixed ratio between two quantities in a proportional relationship. And in math, we use the letter K to represent this constant. So whenever you're dealing with a proportional relationship, just think of K as the glue holding your two variables together. It's the steady, unchanging heartbeat of the whole equation.
Finding K is super straightforward, and it really just comes down to two easy steps. Step 1. In any proportional relationship, you just divide the y value by the x value. So y divided by x. And when you do that division, you're going to get the exact same number every single time. That unchanging number, that's your constant. That's your K. Okay, step 2. Once you found K, you just drop it right into the standard equation format, which is y equals K times x. So, say your constant happens to be 12. Your equation simply becomes y equals 12x. Easy, right?
Section 3. Real-world math examples. Seeing it in action.
So we have the basic steps down. Now let's explore how the curriculum applies this stuff to real life. Let's imagine a student earning some money by tutoring. We've got our x values representing the hours worked, so 2, 4, and 6 hours. And we've got our y values representing the total money earned, $30, $60, and $90. To find our constant, we just apply our rule, right? Divide y by x. Think about those first numbers. If y is 30 and x is 2, well, what's the constant?
If you divided 30 by 2, you got 15. Let's just check the next set to be absolutely sure. 60 divided by 4, yep, that's 15. And 90 divided by 6, also 15. So each pair gives us a K of 15, meaning the student earns a constant $15 per hour. Since our constant is 15, we just write the final equation as y equals 15x. This whole relationship is entirely proportional because y divided by x always results in exactly 15.
Let's look at another one to see how this builds. Imagine you're running a lemonade stand and you sell 3 cups of lemonade for a total of $6. Remember our golden rule, y divided by x. Let's make the total money our y value and the number of cups our x value. Take a quick second and do the mental math. What is 6 divided by 3?
Boom, the constant is 2. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So your constant of proportionality, your K, is exactly 2. This means, no matter what, every single cup costs exactly $2. The ratio is totally consistent, which forms a proportional relationship. And the equation? Just y equals 2x. The really cool thing about having this equation is that if you want to know how much money you'd make selling, say, 100 cups, you just plug 100 into the x, multiply it by 2, and you instantly know you've made 200 bucks. Simple as that.
Okay, let's take this from the lemonade stand to the open road. You're on a road trip and a car travels 150 miles in 3 hours. We need to find the car's steady speed. The total miles will be our y value and the hours will be our x value. So, y divided by x. 150 divided by 3. What is our constant k for this road trip?
The math gives us 50. The car is traveling exactly 50 miles every single hour. So k is 50. Following our handy format, the equation for this trip is y equals 50x. Once you spot that constant, you literally have the key to unlock the whole equation no matter how far you're driving.
Section 4. Time to practice. Test your skills.
All right, it is time to put these steps to the test. Whether we're talking about bike rentals, how fast a plant grows, or baking up a storm, the underlying formula is always the same. So I'd encourage you to actually pause this explainer right here, grab a piece of scrap paper, and try to find the constant for these 5 scenarios using our trusty y divided by x rule. Try to find k, and see if you can write out the full equation for each one. You've got this.
Section 5. Education and Morality. The Bigger Picture. The HeroesMart Academy curriculum actually takes a really interesting approach as the lesson wraps up. Their core philosophy heavily intertwines biblical morality with traditional education. Now, according to the source material, their main argument is that education without morality will ultimately cause harm. They ask this really broad conceptual question. What's the point of being incredibly smart or knowing how to calculate every complex equation if a person just makes choices that end up hurting themselves and the people around them? The curriculum's whole perspective is that true education involves developing character and a strong moral compass right alongside your intellect.
And the curriculum concludes by pointing right back to Romans 8:6-7, highlighting what the text describes as a promise of peace to anyone who keeps a spiritual mindset. The source material suggests that, just like finding that constant k brings totally predictable order to a math problem, maintaining a moral mindset brings a sense of stability to your actual life. So, as you head out today and start looking for those fixed patterns in algebra, this material leaves us with a pretty massive question to chew on. What are the unchanging constants you use to guide your own choices in a world that is constantly shifting?